Hey guys, I hope you're all doing well. It's been quite some time since I posted something on my channel, and I thought, while I'm still in lockdown, probably now is a better time than any to get some content uploaded and talk about something new. So, just a quick, interesting story. We've been in level 4 lockdown here in New Zealand for 4 weeks, and a week ago we came out of level 4 and we went down into level 3, which is great, except there's been a lot of controversy around whether you're allowed to go out kayak fishing in level 3. So the rules weren't very clear about whether you could or couldn't go out fishing. Um, there was, in terms of sports and recreation, there was specific rules stating that you could kayak within 200 meters from shore. And then with regards to fishing, it specifically said you could only fish from a wharf or from the beach, but you couldn't fish off any rocks. And it said you couldn't fish off a boat. And I just noticed on the Facebook forums and some of the kayaking groups and the fishing groups, there's been a lot of chat around whether a kayak is a boat or not, and what is a kayak classed as under marine law. Some people were saying that it clearly states that you can only fish from a wharf or the beach, and other people were saying, but it doesn't really say what you can and can't do with a kayak. It was all very confusing, and I was really keen to go out for a fish last weekend, but of course I don't want to break any rules at the same time, so I I made a couple of phone calls. So I actually made a call to the Ministry of Health, and I spoke to a very kind lady, and I asked her what exactly, you know, does the rules state around kayaking, and we read through the rules together, and without me saying, I mean, I just explained to her that it was pretty confusing, and from her point of view, she explained that there's nothing in the alert level 3 rules that specifically state what you can and can't do off of a kayak, so she interprets it as being allowed to fish off a kayak. But I still didn't buy it 100%, so she suggested I give the police a call and phone the Coast Guard as well. So I did just that. I gave the police a call. I phoned their non-emergency 105 number because, to be honest, there isn't like a general phone number for the police here. Spoke to another kind officer who pretty much explained the same thing. According to them, said that according to their understanding, it was okay to fish off a kayak as long as it's within 200 meters from shore, and all the safety guidelines are followed, like safe distancing and wearing your mask. And then same thing, I phoned the Coast Guard. I spoke to another friendly person there, very helpful, who explained the same thing. And except they said one extra thing. They said staying within 200 meters from shore, following the safety guidelines, and of course just going out in safe weather, not endangering yourself or taking any unnecessary risks. So with that all put aside, I shared my findings with some of the groups on Facebook, and happy to go out and go for a fish now. So I'm pretty stoked about that. But stories aside, the reason why I put this video together is to share something new that I have found, and something that I absolutely love doing. I mean, this is one of my favorite things ever, is to try out new gear and to try out new stuff. I mean, I love trying out like new lures, new rods, new equipment, and not necessarily the branded stuff. I mean, and I've always felt that the branded stuff is expensive because it's tried and tested, it works, and it is. Don't get me wrong, if you if you're comparing a Porsche, to I don't know, to like there's little old Uno cars, or a small little, like Honda Fit or something. Of course, the Porsche is going to drive better. It's going to have better performance. Everything about it is going to be better, right? But there are those certain times. There are those times where you will try something that's unbranded and cheaper, and you find an absolute gem. Something that really works, and that for me has always been really exciting, to try these new things out. So I'm always on the lookout, always on the hunt for new things, to try them out and to take them out. So what a better time to do that than during lockdown. I had nothing but time on my hands. So I was searching around, and I came across this absolute beaut of a lure called the T Needler by a company called Kingdom. And this is what they look like. It is a 3D imitation of a needlefish. And when I saw this, I immediately thought of a piper, right? And I know that piper is a very common bait fish here in New Zealand. I know that it's like absolute candy for a kingfish. And I just thought, wow, I haven't seen these around NZ before, and it looked pretty realistic, pretty awesome. And I thought, let me give it a try. So I ordered a couple of these. I haven't tried them yet. I'm going to be going out this weekend to try them for the first time out in the water. They do come in various colors and in 2 different sizes. So the size I have here is the 149 millimeter, 26 gram T-needler. And the cool thing about this lure is that it is very much everything you need in a lure and a little bit more. So when you get the packet actually arrives like this. So it comes with 2 jig heads and it comes with 4 tails. That is great. I was pretty stoked with that when I first saw that. So that's great. You don't have to buy them individually. I like the fact that you get the jig heads and the tails together and that they come separately, so they're interchangeable, which is quite nice. So if you order different color packs, you can actually, interchange your jig heads as well with your tails. The jig heads are different colors. I only ordered one color for now, which is this black one. So the company that I ordered it from don't have colors for their lures. They just call it color 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've aptly named the colors myself just to make it more fun and a little bit more easier to identify. So I have dubbed this specific one the Black Mamba. And I think besides the fact that it's a cool name, I think it's a really cool looking lure. So let me take you through the features of this lure. So starting with the jig head, it comes with a heavy duty barbed hook. It's pretty strong. I think this is definitely going to be able to do the job. What I like about it as well is that instead of having the sort of little tapered molds on the end of the hook, it actually comes with a reverse barb. I don't know if you guys can see that at the end of the hook there. There's like let me move out the way. There's a reverse barb there. So when you slide the tail on, this actually sort of hooks into it, so it makes a much stronger fix on the tail. So I think it keeps on a lot stronger as well, and it's not going to pull off as easily. I'm assuming maybe a very heavy hit might tear the inside of the lure a bit, but what I found, so to test that out with this one, I took it off a few times and put it back on, and all you do is when you put it back on, you sort of just twist it to the side and just to get that hook to hook back in. So it actually works quite well, so I was quite happy about that. The other cool thing about this jig head that I really like is that it's got an extra eye at the bottom. Now you can either use this for a additional assist or treble hook, but what I kind of like about that is if I'm trolling this guy behind the kayak, it only weighs 26 grams, so if you're trolling at a bit of a speed, you're not really going to get close to the bottom. So I was thinking I could use this eye to put on a heavier sinker to actually pull it down more. So that's one thing I'm really excited about to try out. And then if you just look at the detail of the head, I mean, that is pretty awesome, right? If you look at that detail, that is pretty cool. It's got a 3D eye that's luminous and lights up. The head is quite detailed. It looks like a needlefish, and it absolutely swims like one as well. My wife and I went down to the water 3 days ago after work, and I took a rod and it was low tide. I went down to the rock pools and I was just pulling it through the rock pools just to see the motion, and this thing moves like an absolute gem. And the reason why it does that is because of this T-tail design that they have. So you'll notice on the tail, it's got these extra little thingies at the end. So it's not like your normal paddle tail that's just flat at the back on like these normal sort of softy lures. It's got these extra 2 little pieces, and I think as it moves through the water and these things sort of move side to side, the way that the water catches these extra little fins in the back of the tail just whoops it back around. So even when you moving it through the water very slowly, this tail just whips side to side. It's actually pretty awesome to check in the water. Cool. Another nice thing about this tail as well is that it's luminous. There you go. So you can see that the tail lights up quite nicely. So it gives a nice luminous effect. And then even the eyes on the jig head also light up, as you can see. Very cool effect. Cool. Then another nice advantage about what I really like about these lures as well, and I didn't realize it. I mean, when I was shopping for these things, and I actually ordered a couple, I didn't realize this, but when I took it out of the pack and I tried it for the first time, there's actually a hook guide through the lure. So if you're an absolute noob when it comes to putting softies on a jig head, this is absolutely going to help you 100%. And the cool thing is, if you look on top of the lure, you'll see that there's a little, right on top there, you'll see there's these two little knobbies on top. So that's an indicator of where the hook is actually going to come out of the lure. But then it gets better. On the front of the lure, I don't know if you guys can see there, like just use the jig head as a pointer. So if you look in the front of the lure, just over there, there's a little hole in the front of the lure. And that little hole is a guide for your hook. So it's so easy. I mean, you run the hook through that guide, and once you're in, you can actually feel once the hook gets inside there. And it just kind of guides the hook, and it's just so easy to put on, and then pops out through those two little knobbies that I showed you earlier. You can see how it pops out there, and boom. And you can see just before you push it through on the reverse barb, which is there, just push it through, and bam, on the hook. And you're literally going to get it perfect every single time. I mean, you can't get it wrong. It's just so easy. It just guides the hook through, takes you right through the two little bubbles, and then there you go. So awesome, guys. I just thought I would share that with you. It's been a while, so I wanted to get a video out onto my channel again. There hasn't really been much action there. I'm really excited to get out this weekend onto the water and to try this guy out, my black mamba. And then, yeah, I will most definitely report back to you guys and let you know how it goes. So hold thumbs that it's a success, and that get a couple of good hits with these guys. And if there's anybody out there, if you guys are keen to try these out as well, I bought a couple of extras. I've got them on Trade Me at the moment. If you guys are keen, go have a look, grab yourself a pack and try it out. And yeah, please, if you guys have used these lures before, and if you're aware of them, you've had some experience with them, you know, good or bad, do me a favor, mate, just drop a comment, let me know below. I'd be keen to hear anybody else's experience with these lures. And like I said, if you're keen to try them out yourself, if you're heading out this weekend and you're in New Zealand, you want to try them out, I've got a couple on Trade Me that you can pick up if you want, and we'll try and get, if you grab one, we'll get that out to you as soon as possible. Awesome. Well, thanks for watching. Wish me luck. You guys have a great week, and we'll see you again soon. Cheers.